So this is the fourth annual The Future of Competitive Advantage in Banking and Payments report. We have had over 500 respondents from all parts of the payments ecosystem at C-level, responding about the main pain points that they're experiencing and also what they've got planned in terms of their strategic product roadmaps. It's a global report, and we promote this not only to our bottom line customers, but also via the larger industry media. And there were some really key statistics to come out of this. 30% of those banks and FIs that were surveyed said that legacy infrastructure was the most significant barrier to the adoption of real-time instant payments. And everything's really about real time. When you talk to corporate customers, their top priority is around making sure they have access to instant payments, and also juggling this idea of faster payments, faster fraud. And we're very much driven by industry mandates within payments, particularly in the UK and Europe. And so it comes on to one of the other key takeaways, was that only 7% of financial institutions thought that it would be relatively easy to remain compliant. So, that's a huge 93% who are either unsure or slightly nervous about those industry regulations. So there's a lot to focus on and a lot of key takeaways, and I'm really excited for people to read the report. And also, it's Ding Ding round 2, so the survey and the next report will be ready for Cybos 2025. So I'd really appreciate any feedback, and please focus on that survey for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Enya. It's good to hear about the report and the comprehensive nature of it, and particularly the number of folk that provided input to the survey. But there is one key takeaway in this report that's interwoven through the report, and it is a regulatory piece. It's a mandatory piece. It's around the adoption of ISO 20022. And let me put that into context, because there's a question at the heart of this report that says, how challenging do you think it will be to remain compliant with industry mandates and regulations over the next 12 months? And do you know what? Probably not a surprise, but the number is massive. 46% said it would be very challenging, and 39% somewhat challenging. And with responses like that, we have to take it very serious. And against that challenging response, we have to think about an impending deadline of November 25 for ISO 20022 and SWIFT compliance. And I said it was interwoven and within the report. And if you look at that, the report also says, okay, well, you understand the backdrop of change, but what's the biggest challenge in ISO 20022? Arguably one of the biggest changes this year. And 41% are saying it's all about end-to-end processing chain readiness. 25% are saying it's, well, can I even support the additional data and structure? Interestingly, only, in inverted commas, 18% are saying the business case, which might be a move on, that people have stopped thinking about the business case for this and understanding that not only do they have to do it because it's a mandatory requirement, but actually there are clear benefits in making that change. So I think we've seen a report that says, change is big, change is scary. We've seen the impending deadline of ISO 20022, and it's all about readiness. And as we think about ISO 20022, we've got to think about, what are the implications of non-compliance? How on earth do we navigate the technological updates? And how do we engage with industry? And there are some really important factors that come out in the report. They should be at heart of our thinking. And we need to make sure that we move on from just thinking that we've got a perfect path to adoption, because we've got very little room for flexibility. We've got very little time. So the ability to deliver out on 20022 is so important. But actually, I said this thing about ISO 20022 was interwoven through the report. We can ask ourselves questions, why? And 56% of people said there's a real benefit here in improving cash positioning, improving fraud management, and also a reduction in manual intervention. So we're seeing some key responses here about change is difficult. ISO 20022 is at the centre of that, and it's interwoven through this report.